Hopefully we're on YouTube because it's not popping up here on my monitor, but everything looks good, so let me know, chat, I guess, if you're there. We had what was a brutal, painful, disgustingly bad weekend football. Super Wildcard Weekend. I think I'm honestly having a tough time deciding who had the most embarrassing loss. Some of them were brutal in different fashions. I know which one hurt me the most, but I guess let's get into it. Who had the worst weekend? Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Eric, real quick, before you start crying, understandably so, are you monitoring the YouTube thing? Is it popping up? Do you not want it to pop up? Is it better? Because that way, we won't have to eat so much shit today?
Well, luckily, I think everybody who watches had their team loose, too, so it won't be that bad.
That is
yes,
true.
We are live on YouTube.
Okay, perfect. So it's just my tablet's being a bitch. It's being a bitch. Being annoying. Anyway, so yeah. Rough weekend of football. And not just because the Chargers lost. I mean, mainly because the Chargers lost, but the games were not really that interesting. So it's clear that, first off, the AFC, very top-heavy. The NFC, there was a surprise. There was only one upset, really. So, I guess,
I wasn't that surprised about it.
And I was a little, but let's see, Chuck Dominguez shit. I know which hurt me the most, too. We're right there with you, buddy. We're right there with you. But before we get into this weekend of games, let's talk a little bit about the coaching tracker, because there's some interesting developments in the horizon. So, first, I don't know if you know this, but the Cowboys have officially parted ways with Mike McCarthy earlier this week, which, what the fuck's wrong with the Cowboys, man? I get firing Mike McCarthy. I had him on the hot seat the entire season. But why wait so much? Like, why wait an extra week to fire the guy? It doesn't make any sense. What the fuck are you doing? Now you're a week behind everybody else. Everybody else already did their interviews. They had the bye week to interview all the coaches from the teams that are, the in the number one seeds. What are you doing? What are they doing? Do the Cowboys not know shit about fuck? Is that what's going on? Are they on our team?
I mean, based on their
oh my god, are we the Cowboys?
The last 10 years, it's not great.
Yeah. So Mike McCarthy's out, so he joins the list of the fired head coaches, which includes Eberflus, Doug Peterson, Gerard Mayo, Antonio Pierce, Dennis Allen. What's the name of the Jets' former head coach? Saleh. And Mike McCarthy. So, officially, the teams that are looking for head coach: Bears, Jaguars, Patriots, Raiders, Saints, Jets, Cowboys. Except the Raiders already found their. The Patriots already found their head coach in one Mike Bravel, the hottest head coaching candidate this offseason. So, I mean, everybody could kind of see it coming. So, and it sounded like Bravel. That's the job Bravel wanted. So good for him. Now there's all kinds of conspiracy theories of that's why Mike Bravel didn't take any jobs this season, because he knew that the Patriots were going to fire Gerard Mayo, blah, 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 and he was just waiting. Yeah, that's kind of... Listen, I like conspiracy theories, but that one is really wild. Really wild. So I'm going to not buy it, but yeah, good for Bravel. And good for the Patriots.
The thing with the clause on... freaking Gerard Mayo's contract that he had to be head coach or something.
They can take that contract, rip it up, throw a bunch of money at him, and that's it. So I don't know. Listen, this is probably the smartest thing the Patriots could have done. It sounds like he's going to bring McDaniels with him as the offensive coordinator. So they're getting the band back together up in New England. He knows the culture that they want over there. He's a proven winner, so he's getting potentially good QB. So it's good for them, good for the Patriots. I mean, I'm not particularly happy that it seems like it's a good organization. They're getting their shit together, but you know, good. You know what? More than good for the Patriots, good for Vrabel. Good for Vrabel.
Also, thinking about, dynasties and whatnot, I'd rather have the Patriots dynasty back than this current Chiefs one.
Yes, definitely. And so the head coaching positions that are still available right now are the Bears, Jaguars, Cowboys, Raiders, Saints, Jets. Holy fuck. Eric, which one would you take? And why is it the Jets? Listen, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. And it may shock you, but I would 100% pick the Raiders job. You know why?
You want to live in Vegas?
That'd be nice. 1. 2.
You can sabotage him?
That's 2. 3.
You like crime?
No, because after sabotaging them, I would get fired. And the Raiders just love paying head coaches. They just love firing them and just keep paying them money. So it's one of those things like, hey, all right, I'll be there for a game. I'll sabotage you. I'll sabotage as much as I can, and I'll get paid a ton of money for a few years. The Jaguars are so dumb, they might keep me the entire season. The Saints definitely would. The Saints would not fire me. They'd be like, oh, let's give this boy a chance. The Jets might kill me, and I don't want to die. So it's just one of those things like, hey, it seems kind of like the best opening if you look at it through that lens. By the way, let's see.
In theory, the Cowboys' job should not be that bad. It's just having to deal with fucking Jerry.
That's the problem. So, listen, the Cowboys will probably get somebody who is either a head coach that's on the outs or a coordinator, because the Cowboy brand is very powerful. So they are still, I think, the most valuable franchise in the NFL. So the brand is worth something. If you're the guy who can turn that around, it's going to be financially very lucrative for you.
I think they're still the most valuable franchise in the world.
I don't know. I don't know in the world. I thought Pokemon's the most valuable franchise.
No, I mean like a sports franchise.
I don't know. But the point is, not the Yankees?
I'll Google.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Point is, there is a aura to them. I can see them attracting somebody. So the Cowboys being thrown into the mix is a wrench in the system. However, dealing with Jerry Jones at this point, like Gus Becerra says, he's basically Joe Biden right now. Chuck Dominguez, I heard the new head coach for the Cowboys is Jerry Jones. Chuck Dominguez, same here. Again, my money is Bill coming to the coach of the Raiders. Listen, I'm pretty... the last thing that I heard is that supposedly Ben Johnson from the Lions is being seduced by Tom Brady to go to the Raiders. I don't think Bill Belichick is coming in for the Raider job. It's no good. It's no bueno. It's not sexy. It would require way too much work. The division's too difficult. I don't think he wants to be Brady's number 2. The most logical thing I've heard of, well, why did Brady contact Bill Belichick? He probably contacted him to ask for advice. It's like, hey, you did this for a very long time. What would you recommend? Now that I'm in a similar position, what did you look for? Blah blah blah.
But I keep hearing that they hate each other and they never talk, and they got all this beef between them. So what do you say about that?
Well,
you saying it's all bullshit?
I'm not saying that's all bullshit. I mean, you can be professional with somebody you dislike.
I think it's just bullshit.
All right, fair enough. Point is,
and also, yes, the Dallas Cowboys are still the number 1 most valuable teams. There are a few NFL teams in the top 10. Which ones do you think?
Chiefs.
No.
Patriots?
No. Patriots are number 6.
Okay, so I got the Cowboys, the Patriots. How many left are there?
5.
5.
Or 4, sorry.
For the Steelers?
Nope.
Rams.
Rams are number 3.
Okay, so I'm missing one.
No, there's four more.
Oh, in the top 10?
Yeah.
Hot damn. All right, so there's 3 more. Which ones are winning teams in big cities? So
They don't have to be winning teams.
Oh, the Giants.
Yes.
Biggest cities in the U.S. Seahawks?
No.
Oh. Is it the Chargers?
No.
Oh, I mean, they're in the L.A. market. Can't be the Lions. Is it the Lions?
No.
Oh, okay.
Chargers are number 31.
Packers.
Nope.
Texans?
Nope.
Bears.
Oh.
Just tell me.
Well, there's another New York team.
No way. It's not the fucking Jets.
The fucking Jets
It's
are number 9.
not the fucking Jets. What?
And number 10, the San Francisco 49ers.
That one makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. All right. Well, let's
number
continue.
11 and number 11, the Las Vegas Raiders. You missed out, Dean Spanish.
Brutal. All right, so let's move on to Wildcard Weekend, even though I really don't want to talk about it.
I was trying to avoid it.
Yeah, I tried as hard as I could. Let me see.
You want to
again,
talk about the economy or something?
Honestly, I'd rather talk about, cancer or whatever. It'd be way more fun. But let me see. Chuck Dominguez, well, Patriots beat the Chiefs. Bill and Tom beat the Chiefs, so I don't know. It could happen. Broncos. Nah, it's not the Broncos. Sorry, buddy. But, all right, so we begin Super Wildcard Weekend with the Chargers losing to the Strouds, the Texans 12-32 in Houston in what was a very, very painful game to watch. Not gonna lie.
It was a fucking embarrassment.
Yes, in more ways than one. It was a complete and total collapse in many ways. So, except, one Lad McConkey, who broke the record, I believe, for most yards by a rookie in their playoff debut. So, good for him. He had...
That being said, Lad McConkey not catching a ball did lead to a pick 6.
True. I mean, it was not the easiest ball, but whatever. Lad McConkey, 9 receptions for 197 yards and 1 touchdown. If you add up all the other receptions from all the other wide receivers on the team, you get 2 receptions for 14 yards. That is Lad McConkey, 9 for 197 and 1 TD. Every other wide receiver, 2 for 14 yards. If you're kind of wondering why the Chargers lost, that's one of the reasons. Will Disley had a terrible game, dropping balls left and right for first downs, for interceptions. Quentin Johnston wasn't even there, basically, which was very disappointing. Honestly, I think the person that I'm most disappointed on is probably Quentin Johnston. And the thing that sucks...
He's starting to turn it around, man.
What?
He was starting to turn it around.
I know. It's just big games, I guess. He shrivels. I don't know what's going on. But we all knew... The annoying thing about this game is that we all knew what the narrative was going to be. We all knew what was going to be said about this game. And yes, Justin Herbert had the worst game of his career, probably. 4 interceptions. However, interestingly enough, Justin Herbert ended up with a better PFF grade than CJ Stroud in this game. So I know there's a lot of people talking shit about Justin, and there's a lot of people who are very disappointed, Chargers fans, about Justin. Now they're like, oh man, he's not going to be he's not the solution for the future or whatever. I'm going to try to put a few things into context for you, all right? Hopefully make you feel better. So, this was not so much Justin Herbert sucking, in my humble opinion. It was more of a, hey, the Texans actually have a pretty good defense. So, what are my examples for that? Well, if you remember, earlier in the season, they played the Bills. And one man named Josh Allen had the worst game probably of his career. 9 out of 30 for 131 yards, 1 TD, 185 total yards. The worst game of his career, this Texans defense. They also played against the Lions. Jared Goff had 5 interceptions in that game. Jared Goff, who was in the consideration for an MVP until that point. They also
Still
played
won that game though.
What? Still won the game.
Still won that game.
I'll give him that. Because they are the Lions. They also played the Colts in the game where Anthony Richardson did the tap out. Not just losing that game, but potentially ruining his fucking career. And finally, Tua Tagovailoa, 3 sacks for 3 INTs. So the worst game of his season by far. So it's not just that Justin Herbert had the worst game of his career. Is that the Texans defense is actually legit when they have that criminal middle linebacker in the game. Aziz something. The dude who got suspended for almost killing Trevor Lawrence and who punched Ladd McConkey in the face. So when that guy's on the field, they pretty deadly. They pretty good. And so it was a combination of the Chargers showed you that they were a bunch of C and D players playing on a B and A level. Like I said, this roster, we knew we were playing with house money, right? I'm actually pretty happy with the entire season. It sucks that it ended this way. It's like, when you go on a date and at the end of the date, you just, the kiss is not as great. It's like, it's weird. Maybe a little bit too much tongue or something. It's not as great, but you're like, still everything else was great. We aligned on many of the things. We laughed. We had fun. So it's fine. And so,
yeah, honestly, this season was, it's weird to say, it was a resounding success.
Yeah.
It's just,
it's all about how you leave them.
If the game at least could have been more competitive.
It kind of was until it wasn't. Until the pick six. That's when everything went to hell. And so, when you're being pressured in over 50% of your dropbacks, to me, the issue, and it's kind of a good thing because we could see it when the Chargers were up against good teams. So when they were up against bad teams, their C and D players were able to compete and they were able to play at high levels. But when they went up against the good teams, you can immediately tell me what the flaws in the team are. The interior line, the receiving core, and the tight ends probably. And they also need a little bit more work in corner or something. I think Tarheeb still needs to gain a few pounds at least. And Cam Hart's just appears to be fragile for some, unfortunately, because the dude's a pretty good player. But now all the rookies are going to get another offseason with Coach Herbert, Ben Herbert. So everybody, I'm pretty sure that they're going to come back bigger, faster, stronger. Everybody. So I'm not concerned about that. And they have all the money in the world to play with. They have $100 million to play with. So I'm pretty sure they're going to get at least a guard, maybe a center. They need a center. If they want to keep Bozeman, but move him to guard. We need a new center probably. But dude, I'm very disappointed in Sion Johnson. Sion Johnson is there's plays when you're looking at them that there's a play where there's a guy where there's a defensive lineman that's lined up in front of Sawyer, so on the right guard. And so the play starts and Sawyer is fighting against somebody else to his right. The defensive player is kind of just standing there. Sion Johnson and Bozeman have nobody to block and they're kind of just looking at him. And then all of a sudden the defensive lineman runs between the two of them and sacks Herbert. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Why don't you attack? What the hell is going on? So yeah, Sion Johnson, another first round draft pick by Tom Telesco. I think get him out of there. So yeah, they need at least a guard and a center and a tight end. So who's a pass catching weapon, in my humble opinion. But we know it. We saw it in the big games, and they need another wide receiver. Definitely.
Yeah, for fucking sure.
I mean,
but I think I've seen a lot of takes. If I'm gonna play devil's advocate, because they're saying, "Oh, Justin Herbert seems like he can't play. He just can't win in the playoffs. He's not gonna be the guy. He doesn't have a killer instinct."
I'm not worried about Justin Herbert. Not at all.
No, my. If I'm gonna play devil's advocate, it does seem like when he's under pressure, he does sort of give me some flashes of Phillip Rivers, of his decision making sometimes is not the best. Sometimes it seems like he could try to scramble for a few yards himself, and throws it to a wide receiver that he already knows they don't got hands.
By the way,
So-
Brandon Hallam has a fun fact. The AFC
Oh, I see
South, has more wins this postseason than the NFC North and the AFC West, which is hysterical. 'Cause they sent 6 teams, but well, listen, if the AFC South beats the AFC West this week, I'll be happy. I'll be the happiest man in the world. Just get the stupid Chiefs out of there. Anyway,
Get the sweep.
listen, again, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Justin Herbert. It'll be fine. It'll be good. People saying like, oh, he can't win big games. Like, dude won the Rose Bowl. And I'm not saying he played well in the Rose Bowl. I mean, he's the reason they won. So it's just, we knew what this team was. A bunch of B, C, and D guys that other teams cut, that the coaches here had them playing out of their minds. It's good coaching. Again, good coaching can elevate bad players. Bad coaching can downgrade good players. And so what we're seeing, this is the worst team Jim Harbaugh's going to have. Because they're going to... They started the offseason with a handicap. They couldn't hire anybody because they were under by, 50 million, maybe more? I don't know. They were under because of the gigantic inflated contracts of Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and they were still paying J.C. Jackson. So they were under, had no money to play with. They got the guys that they could get, and they had them playing out of their minds. Now they have money to play with. They're going to hire better guys. And even if they only get B and C players, well, that's a step up from C and D players. There's also a thing that it bothered me earlier in the season when they didn't get anybody at the trade deadline. But hearing Joe Ortiz talk in his press conference, end of season press conference, and him talking about being responsible and all that stuff, I was like, oh my God, he knew. Like, they knew that this wasn't the year. Like, they did not have enough to compete. I mean, to compete, yes, but not to win. So they weren't just going to throw the future of all their picks, because the Chargers right now have an advantage in picks. And by that I mean Jim Harbaugh came up from college. So he knows a lot more of all the players in college than anybody else in the NFL. He has that advantage. He tried recruiting those kids. So they have an advantage, and they're going to take advantage of the picks that they have. I mean, just look at the draft class this year. Almost everybody was performing. So I think that's the plan. This year was kind of to gauge the people that they had, who's for real and who's not. And they're just going to... I wouldn't be surprised if half the team doesn't come back. I wouldn't be surprised. Because a lot of them had just 1-year contracts, prove-it deals. The only one that actually convinced me was J.K. Dobbins, even though he had a bad game. And, Elijah Molden, I like the guy. He also has a guy. Tony Jefferson had a good season. So, we'll see where it goes. I'm not worried.
We need a star wide receiver, though. I'm convinced.
We have a star wide receiver. We need another one.
Tyreek?
Nah, I don't like Tyreek. He annoys me.
He would annoy me way less if he scored some TDs for us.
He annoys me. Nah. Anyway, let's continue. Let's move on to a lot more fun subjects. The Ravens just beating the ever-living hell out of the Steelers. This man, Derrick Henry, he good. Turns out that the only strategy the Ravens needed was one that I've been screaming to the heavens since before the season started. Give the ball to Derrick Henry. You'll win. Every single time. 26 runs, 186 yards, 2 TDs. He was just embarrassing fools out there. This is a divisional rival? This ain't a rivalry anymore. Like, they were just embarrassed. I know there's
I saw a very interesting statistic where it compared Mike Tomlin's record to Mike McCarthy.
Uh-huh. I can see it.
They basically have the same record.
Yep.
And I think Mike McCarthy has more playoff wins.
I would not be surprised.
I mean, at least in the last 10 seasons or something.
Listen,
they both have a Super Bowl ring.
Mike McCarthy is a weird dude because, I mean, he does win a lot. The issue is, I don't understand how you can be that successful and be so stupid with clock management. Like, I've seen him lose several important games, by being terrible at clock management, which is the most important thing you do on game day. I don't get it. So, whatever. Maybe he'd just be a better coordinator. Who knows? I don't know. You think anybody's going to pick him up? Think anybody's going to pick up Mike McCarthy? You think the Bears are getting up and being like, hey, I want Mike McCarthy? You think that's going to happen?
I can see him as a coordinator.
Now, let me see. Sandman says Tomlin is becoming more and more overrated as seasons go by. Tomlin has a better PR guy than McCarthy.
That's true.
Listen, I don't get it. I 100% understand why Steelers fans are upset. I know us lowly Charger fans are like, aren't you happy? You always have a winning record. You at least enjoy your seasons. But
You
from
always
their
make it to the playoffs.
yeah, but from their perspective is like, listen, we play the most boring ass games in the NFL, and we always get embarrassed in the playoffs. Like, the only thing they're doing is kind of screwing up their draft picks. So it'd be almost better if they tanked officially and then maybe get an elite QB or something. But who knows?
Seems like Russell Wilson might even be having issues there. It seems like they're talking about starting Justin Fields. And to be honest, in this game, it didn't even seem like the Steelers cared.
No, that's the thing.
Did you get that feeling?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I didn't care, but maybe I'm just projecting.
It was interesting when it got kind of close there for a minute, but then it was like, nah, the Ravens just got too far ahead.
Yeah. Next, we have the Buffalo Bills beating the ever-living hell out of the Broncos.
Speaking of getting ahead early and then,
Listen,
well,
the Broncos had one very good drive, and then they drove home, pretty much. Now,
I can just imagine Chuck yelling, "Stop the count!
Stop the count!" Listen, Bo Nix, 13 out of 22, 144, 1 TD, 187 total yards, got sacked twice. This team was playing with house money. We knew it. Everybody knew it.
Chargers.
Yeah, same as the Chargers, playing with house money. The difference between the Chargers and the Broncos is that the Broncos were going up against the buzzsaw that is the Buffalo Bills. The Chargers were up against the Texans, who had been playing very bad football the final month of the season. However, again, we did not consider that they brought that criminal Aziz back right in time for the playoffs. But anyway, doesn't particularly matter here. Broncos playing with house money. Bo Nix is getting experience. This team, in salary cap hell, beat everybody's expectations. So it was a successful season overall. It just, same thing. It sucks that it ended on a sour note. You would wish you could see them being competitive. That's the problem. At least, this game was over pretty quickly, honestly. They couldn't do anything. And so,
yeah, it was one of those. It was like one of those boxing fights where it's like it's the champion against some dude nobody knows, and the guy gets like a surprise knockdown in the first round. And it's like, oh shit, maybe this is gonna be. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So,
And then it sort of wakes the other guys up.
Listen, I just wanted a fun game. I already knew the result. I just want a fun game. On the other side of the field, Josh Allen, 20 out of 26, 272, 2 TDs, 218 total yards. Woo! And everybody saw it coming. So
He's okay.
Yeah, good for him. Now they're hosting the Ravens, so it should be fun. Next,
The MVP Bowl.
yeah, next, the Eagles beating the Packers 10-22. This game was weird, man. This game was very, very weird for several reasons. And first off,
Some say AJ Brown is still reading that book.
dude, the Packers offense just completely embarrassed themselves. They had one fumble, 3 INTs. That's 4 total turnovers. And you see the final score? 4 turnovers.
Their defense played good.
No, the Eagles sucked. There was a point where Jalen Hurts. I saw this
the defense
stat.
playing good though.
Dude, I saw this stat, and I choose to believe it because I'm not gonna look it up. Jalen Hurts. He spent 90 minutes between completions, pass completions. All right, so in game, 90 minutes passed by between 2 completions. That is insane. He had a terrible game. Like, the Eagles looked terrible. Again, sure, the Packers defense, maybe the Packers defense is, the truth. but they lost everybody and their mother on offense, and still, it was kind of close.
Yeah, the Packers didn't lose; they died.
Oh yeah, definitely. And in the meantime, AJ Brown just reading his book, man. I can't tell you how much I respect that shit. I respect. You ever pick up a good book and you're just like, man,
You're like, brother, I just can't keep this down. I can't keep it down.
I can't stop, man. It's too good. And so and I love that it's actually a paperback. Because, you know, some people,
Yeah.
they read on their phones, they read on tablet. He could have used a tablet, and everybody would have been like, oh, he's checking out plays. Nah, he was like, I'm bringing my fucking paperback, and I'm just going to sit here and read. What the fuck are you going to do about it? So, listen, some might say that this
What?
is concerning.
Have they said which book it is?
Yes, they did. And it became a bestseller on Amazon, man. Like,
What is it?
I don't remember. I don't care. But it was like Achieving Greatness or something like that. So it's,
We'll look it up.
listen, good for him for reading. That's all I'm going to say. Good for him for reading. I probably wouldn't have done it in a playoff game, something that's this close, but you know, high quality entertainment. That's all I'm going to say. Let me see. Check me.
He was reading Jim Murphy's self-help book, Inner Excellence.
Inner excellence. All right. Good for him. He's trying to get motivated to do something on the game. Check the links. In
Not
many
catch
ways,
balls.
okay, in many ways, it wasn't that bad. Is the first time we made it to the playoffs in 9 years. Yeah. Listen, baby steps. Baby steps. You were a better team than the season before. Everything points to being a better team the following season. So you're less in salary cap hell, I believe. So just
Also, Chuck, keep in mind, and we appreciate this, your team got embarrassed so badly that, well, it made the blows that came our way as Charger fans.
oh, dude,
Not as bad.
Listen, Saturday was rough. All right, it was rough, mainly because I was still trying to process it. I was like, did everything else that I see the entire season, was it wrong? I was like, no.
Dude, I went on the internet and it was just a roast fest, and I was like, you know,
listen,
guys, have you not considered that this is hurting my feelings?
I do not care what the talking heads say. They're a bunch of idiots. Like I know what my eyes see, and it's like and most of these people don't watch games. Like there's a former scout that I watch. I like his content, and when he was talking about the Chargers, he was like, oh yeah, well Khalil Mack, he had a great season and all these sacks. Let me double check that. And he was like, oh, 6 sacks. Maybe he didn't have that many. I thought he had more. It's like, you don't watch the games. Nobody watches every single game of every single team except crazy people like you and me. And we don't watch every single game. We kind of watch the ones that we're interested in and the ones that fit on our screen.
Not watch Steelers games.
Oh, yeah, of course. No. Brutal. No, we don't need that. And so nobody watches all the games. And highlights don't tell you all the story. So I get it. I get it's the talking point. And
Yeah,
it gets people internet points. I don't care.
Sometimes, most of the time when it's a game that I don't care about, I'll just watch the highlights, and I'll be confused at the end. It's like, why was this a blowout if it seemed like they were playing so similar? The real teams play the shitty plays, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's where you see what the team is actually like for 90% of the time.
Mhm.
It's during the shitty plays where nothing's happening,
Listen,
where there's no highlights.
here's the thing that I do in fantasy football. When I'm watching a game, I pay close attention to who they're throwing the ball to or who they're trying to throw the ball to. So it shows you when the quarterback's under duress, they're like, okay, that's his guy. So that's a guy worth picking up. That's a guy he looks for. Now it also helps when they catch the balls and stuff like that, but it doesn't always reflect. Like there's some big plays that get returned because of flags and they don't appear in highlight reels. So that stuff's really important too. But anyway, Packers players are getting hurt left and right all game. AJ Brown channeling his inner Jonathan Mixon from Varsity Blues. That is true. I mean, listen, I ain't gonna criticize a man for reading, okay? Never. Next, the most exciting game of the weekend by far, the Buccaneers getting upset by the Washington Commanders, 23-20. with a doink. And listen, there's a lot of people being like, see, the Commanders could do it. Why couldn't the Chargers? Blah blah. Turn around. Jaden Daniels is much better. Blah blah blah. Listen, Jaden Daniels is looking to be a legit starter in this league. Good for him. He had a great debut in the playoffs. 24 out of 35, 268 yards, 2 TDs. Plus, he was
the year guaranteed.
Plus 36 yards rushing, which made him the leading rusher in his team. So that's not great for the Commanders, but he did something that I did not expect. He did a stiff arm. Mm-hmm. This dude looks skinny as hell, but he's apparently tough, so good for him.
He whoops ass.
The Buccaneers defense really didn't do much. I mean, they did some stuff, but to me, the big difference between the Commanders and the Chargers is that the Chargers were in salary cap hell. The Commanders actually had an opportunity to get a bunch of high-end players in some positions. And also, Bobby Wagner, the man, can still play. So, it's rookie QB, not cheap as hell. And you have money to play with to get a bunch of free agents. It kind of helps out, which is the position that the Chargers are in now. So, again, all good things. From my perspective, I can see the Chargers being Super Bowl contenders 2-3 seasons.
I'm hopefully in the next one. But yes,
I do.
I like the optimism.
Of course. But like I said, what did I say? To me, the minimum I expect this season is 9 wins. They surpassed that. The minimum I expect from them to be Super Bowl contenders in 2-3 seasons. If they want to do it this season, good for them. I'm not. Listen, I ain't gonna stop them, right? I ain't gonna be like, nah. You need to wait. Bad Harbaugh. No, go ahead, do it. Next, the final game of the weekend, the Los Angeles Rams putting the hurt on poor Sam Darnold's job opportunities, man. Holy shit. 27-9. The Vikings just imploded? Are the Rams this good? Is this play legal? Like, I've had a lot of people say, send me jokes and memes about this stuff. Like, dude, how is this not a flag? Sam Darnold in front of the refs. And by the way, they sent me because of my rant of Sam Darnold for the face mask against the Rams in front of the refs. In front of the refs.
The man was doing a full-on frog splash.
Yeah. However, now I feel the responsibility to inform people. Last time I've informed them of how the rules worked and why they were wrong. Here I need to inform the people of another rule. There is a rule in the NFL that if you do a WWE wrestling move, there is no flag. There is no flag, and the reason is that everybody knows that wrestling is fake. So they weren't hurting the guy. That's the rule. You're welcome, everybody. Now you inform.
That's why they didn't penalize that sweet chin music.
Exactly. Yeah, they're like, he's not hurt. There you go. Everybody knows it's fake. Yeah. So yeah, Sam Darnold. Oof. 9 sacks. 9. This dude, they say he was seeing ghosts. No, he was seeing big ass motherfuckers trying to kill him on every single play. No ghosts there.
There were no ghosts. Those ghosts were physical.
Yeah, there were demons. 1 INT, 1 fumble recovered, 25 out of 40, 245, 1 TD. It's just so funny that, again, history repeats itself. They lose against the Lions. Following week, they lose against the Rams. And what happened last week? They lose against the Lions, and now they lose against the Rams. Both of them in prime time. So that's just...
The season has been scripted pretty good.
Honestly, yes. That's pretty fucking funny. And it sucks because I had the Rams on our on our playoff thing. I had the Vikings on our playoff thing. But whatever, man. Funny's funny. I'll take it. But yeah, brutal. Sam Darnold was maybe winning the starting position, the starting job for the Vikings. Now, who knows? And I don't think it's his fault, man. That is
I really don't.
When you get sacked 9 times, I don't think it's your fault they lost, but it's unfair that
it feels like it's gonna be a freaking oh my god, what was the Chargers head coach that got fired?
Which one? What team?
The good one.
The Sala?
No, Chargers.
Oh, okay. Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's gonna be a Schottenheimer thing where it's like, oh wow, you went 14-2 this season and you were number 1 seed overall, but you lost in the playoffs. You're fired.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, Sam Darnold was get 14 wins.
And this was supposed to be a rebuild year for them too. So
Yeah.
listen, if I'm the Vikings, JJ McCarthy is inexperienced and apparently brittle because he got injured in OTAs. I'd keep Sam Darnold and build a better team around him. But I guess, if you're Sam Darnold, you're like, pay me money, a lot of it. But I don't know. To me, it's
Not
like
as much as he could have if he at least won one game,
yeah. But again, it's not his fault.
or if it had been close.
It's not his fault. The Rams played lights out.
I told you that I had a feeling about the Rams.
You did. By the way, I'm doing terrible in our league. On the other side, by the way, Matthew Stafford, turns out, he good. 19 out of 27, 209, 2 TDs. But the important thing is how those yards came to be. They were just slicing and dicing the freaking Vikings, the vaunted Vikings defense. He was in the zone. The Rams were in the freaking zone, and that's a scary team right now. Honestly, them against the Eagles, if they play like this, holy shit. If the Eagles play the way they played and the Rams play the way they played, that's not even going to be close. But we'll see. Let's see. Let's move on to the current playoff picture. Let me see. What are you saying right here? Heard it's going to be snowing during the Buffalo and Philadelphia games. Should be good. Love snow games. I think they just figured Darnold out this past month, and Darnold and his coaching staff didn't make adjustments. Well, of course they figured out Darnold. Try to kill him every single play, and he won't be able to do anything. Bring on JJ for the Bikes next season. Listen, I'm curious to see JJ McCarthy play. But I'm not concerned about his abilities as a quarterback. I'm concerned that he might be brittle. That's a bigger concern. It's not.
He might be a bitch.
I mean, it's not a bitch. It's just you get injured. You don't control that stuff.
Yeah, you don't want a Tua situation.
Yeah, definitely not. That would be very, very bad, especially because they paid Tua a lot of money. Anyway,
So what are we looking at?
let's move on to the playoff picture. So here's how things currently stand in our little double or nothing bet to see if you're going to dye your hair pink. I picked the Vikings, the Commanders, the Bucks, and the Packers. On the AFC, I had the Chargers, the Steelers, and the Bills. So if you're keeping up, I only had 2 teams win. You currently have 4. Oh no, you had 4 teams win. So
Who do I have? I have the Rams and the Eagles. They're gonna eliminate one of them.
and you have the Chiefs and the Texans. So
Okay.
the only game that actually matters,
Ravens.
Ravens Bills. It's literally the only game that matters because I have Commanders Lions. I'm getting 2 points anyway. By the way, it's 1 point in the wild card, 2 points in the divisional, 3 points in the championship, 5 points Super Bowl. No matter how this plays out, if the Bills lose this weekend, I'm done. There's no mathematical way I can catch up. Even if one of my other 2 teams makes it all the way to the Super Bowl and wins, I'm mathematically out. So I
Go
need
Birds.
the stupid Buffalo Bills to beat the Baltimore Ravens, and it sucks because I like the Ravens in this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a snow game. They're gonna run the shit out of that ball.
Yeah, they're just gonna, if they're smart, they're just gonna give the ball to Derrick Henry all game. Just give it to him. But we'll see. Let's make our predictions.
Snap it directly to him.
Yeah, let me see. I messed this up. It's a divisional weekend. All right, so let's make our predictions. Saturday at 1:30.
Some say the most exciting weekend of NFL football, the divisional round.
Saturday at 1:30 p.m. we have the host, the Houston Texans visiting the. Who even is this team? I don't even remember their name, man. You remember this team? I haven't seen them play in like a month. Oh yeah, the defending Super Bowl champs, stupid Patrick Mahomes and the stupid Kansas City Chiefs. Again, they haven't played a meaningful game in a month. The Strouds look red hot. They finished red hot against that game. That defense looked good. I thought...
What was the last meaningful game they played? Steelers? On Christmas?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
It wasn't guaranteed they were number 1 seed.
Okay, yeah, so that's the last meaningful game they played. And before that, against the Strouds, where they just beat the ever-living hell out of them and, almost killed one of their wide receivers. So, I think that the Texans are going to be extra motivated. They have that criminal Assis coming back to play, which, by the way, I'm shocked that they have not suspended the guy. Because he threw a punch at Lat McConkey's face, and not because of the punch of Lat McConkey. Don't get me wrong. Because they were up against the Chiefs. And I'm surprised that they did not suspend him because it would have helped the Chiefs, and they're the luckiest team in the NFL. So there's still a couple of days before the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if the dude gets suspended. Anyway.
Maybe he'll just shoot somebody.
I don't think they suspend you for that.
I don't know if it's against the rules officially.
I mean, Rashee Rice did not get suspended for drag racing. So, I don't know.
Who do you like?
Listen. If the Texans play the way they did last week, I like the Texans. However, if the Chiefs if the Chiefs play the way the Chiefs have played in the playoffs for the past, decade, I like the Chiefs. Just for funsies though, I'm gonna go with the Texans.
Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, I know. Fuck it. Damn you. Are you writing them down?
I'll remember.
That'll be easy. All right. God picked the way.
Okay.
Next Saturday at 5 p.m., we got the Commanders visiting the Lions. Are the Lions healthier now? They got a bye week. We're gonna get more of them Lions players? Is Montgomery playing? Can you look that up, please? All these things are important to know. Actually, not really. I think the Lions are just gonna mop the floor with the Commanders anyway. The Commanders have been a fun story, but come on, the mighty Lions.
It says David Montgomery returns to practice Tuesday.
Oh, so he might play. All right, give me the Lions. They've been my...
I'm taking the Lions too, of course.
Yep, they've been my selection all season. Not backing down now. God picked the way. All right, next we have interesting one. The Rams visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Eric, who do you like?
Eagles.
Oh, wait.
LA people playing in the cold.
Let me see. Chuck Dominguez says the Texans, Sandman, are there any teams you guys would take with the point spread, underdogs? We don't do point spread. There's a problem, a massive problem with the point spread. Eric doesn't understand it. He has no idea what it means. He has no idea how it works. So we don't use the point spread. Am I incorrect?
Which one?
He understands over under though. That's something.
I know the +7 and -7, all that shit.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever bet on games?
No, but I'm always there. What my dad does.
Ah, that's true. All right, fair enough. I don't know. I don't like doing that. I like the way that we do it. There's already too many games.
And we're already bad enough at this.
Okay, so Chuck says Lions and Rams. Montgomery's back, according to Sandman. So, Eric, who do you like?
I said the Eagles. Maybe it's because I'm biased and they're my team in the other league.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I hope so, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams take it.
Yes. I agree. I like the Rams.
I think they're the sleeping giant.
Listen, I know the Eagles have a better roster, but the Rams have a much better head coach. So, can they overcome the talent?
Sirianni?
What? Dude,
Sirianni?
I really don't like Sirianni. Sirianni, to me, it's one of those guys that, dude, I respect a lot of what you've done, but you kind of get in your own way. Like, he's the reason...
He's the Sean McDermott of the NFC.
Maybe? I mean, yeah, you're the reason. Like, you've lost a lot of games in stupid ways. Why'd you go for it in field goal range? I don't get it. But listen, I get it when you're 4th and 1, you have the tush push, but when you're 4th and 6, why'd you go for it? You were in field goal range, but whatever. I like the Eagles. I think they're a more talented roster if they just don't listen to the head coach. So, both get home. And again, snow game, LA team. We'll see.
That was my main thing.
Yeah. Got picked home. And finally, we have the MVP game. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens visiting Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. We don't even need to say it, right? We don't even need to say it. You have one team, I have the other team, so it's kind of... I like the Ravens more, if I'm being honest, but I gotta pick the Bills. My entire you dying your hair pink rests on the Buffalo Bills. I can't back up now. Although if I pick them, maybe I'm jinxing them. I don't want to do that either. But give me the Buffalo Bills.
I'm gonna take the Ravens.
Yeah, that makes sense. Man, this realistically, no bet, no nothing. How do you feel about this game? Who do you feel in your gut takes it?
I feel like it's gonna be a really good game.
Okay, not what I was asking. I
I
hope
feel
it's a really good game.
Yeah. No, I don't think either team's gonna embarrass each other, like themselves. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. But given the weather conditions, I like the run game. So I don't want. You don't want to face Derrick Henry in a freaking dome, under perfect conditions. And now you got to face him in the fucking snow.
Do you want to face Josh Allen in the snow?
He's not gonna be on the field.
Because Derrick Henry's gonna stay on the field.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's just gonna keep the ball on the damn field.
Okay.
No one's gonna take it from him.
All right, who do you think has more rushing yards? Josh Allen, Lamar.
What's his name? Likely.
Likely has more rushing yards?
Surprises everybody.
Not what I asked you, though. I said between Josh Allen and Lamar. By the way, Chuck Dominguez saying that his boy Von Miller's got my back. Von Miller's gonna eat.
Between Lamar and Josh Allen, I'm gonna say Josh Allen just because I think Lamar is gonna give the ball more to Henry.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see what God says. God picked away. Damn it. Picked the Ravens. All right. So there you go. That's a current playoff picture. Our
What's
picks.
gonna be the upset? There's gotta be an upset. The Lions are gonna lose.
Why? The Eagles are more likely to lose. Chiefs.
That's why it's not an upset.
Chiefs are gonna lose. Huh? We can both be happy with that.
But no one's gonna be upset if the Chiefs lose.
But it would be an upset for them.
Who cares about how they feel?
I want them to be upset.
Listen, there can't be an upset in the Ravens Bills, right? It's
No,
too close.
That's a coin toss.
Yeah,
So-
I would say Eagles Rams are the way they played. I think that one's too close to be an upset. So it's either gonna be It's gonna be either of the number one seeds,
So I'm saying it should be the Chiefs.
which is why it's gonna be the Lions.
God, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. If the Lions lose, I'm gonna laugh my ass off, honestly. But I'm gonna be upset about it. Either way, I have the Commanders, so it's. I don't see the Commanders beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I just don't.
Well, I mean, no, they won't make it. The Eagles are gonna make it.
The Eagles, I do see it. I do see them beating it. But let's see, Sandman, who would be the biggest upset to you guys? Oh, is that where you got the question, Eric?
No, actually.
Oh, Mahomes gonna be upset, so that's good enough for me. Yes, see? I
mean, look, I would rather the Chiefs lose, obviously.
Of course. So
If I'm looking at this, I want it to be a bird Super Bowl. I want it to be the Ravens versus the Eagles.
okay, a bird Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Bird Bowl.
Okay. So not Commanders Texans, like the human, like the soldier one. Well, no, Texans just somebody. Chiefs. Commanders for Chiefs? No, I don't like that. No, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that's it. That's it for today. Anything you want to shout out or anything?
Shout out to Jim Harbaugh. Thank you for giving us hope.
Dude, the
and,
funnest
A lot of
season.
joy.
Thank you for giving me like 20 weeks of entertainment. I was happy. I was in a good mood.
Yeah.
Before every game, after every game, I was in a good mood. I was like, oh man, this is fun to watch. Finally, a competent team. Not as talented, but competent, which is sometimes better.
Also, anybody saying, I don't know, Justin Herbert's a bust or trade him or whatever, you're fucking brain dead.
Yeah. I'm not worried.
Or you just want us to fire him so you can take him for your team.
Which is smart.
That's what they want.
Yep. All right. As always, comments, questions, suggestions, you can find me at DarioSDW and at Super Dario World. Comments, questions, suggestions, you can find me at DarioSDW and at Super Dario World. Do not go to Mossy Toyota Pacific Beach unless you want to get robbed. And the BC Forex, I think it's dead already. So I won that one. So, yay. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.